The Matthew Wright Show. Afternoon radio that's anything but ordinary on Talk Radio.
So, it's Thursday. It's time to take you on another trip around Curiosity Corner. In months gone by, Curiosity Corner has thrown up an engaging phone box collector. We've talked tossers with a stone skimming champion, discussed stuffing Kevin with a taxidermist, 250 quid, but you have to wait until he's dead.
Not long.
We've shot the breeze with a human cannonball, spoken to the grand fromage of cheese rollers, floated down a river in a coracle, talked old beer cans with Britain's dullest man, got down and dirty with toilet tourists, which still sounds so wrong. We've run the Marathon du Médoc, kind of, where you drink 20 glasses of wine along the way. We've done a bit of gurning, a roundup of sheepdog trials, learned how to grow a massive turnip and got smashed at the Conker Championships. So what is in Curiosity Corner today? I'll tell you, it's celebrity hair. And here to tell us a little bit about the collection and sale of celebrity hair is Daniel Wade from Fraser Collectibles. Good afternoon to you, Daniel.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Well, I'm absolutely chuffed to be talking to you because this is one of the weirdest ones we've covered, because I have to say, up until very recently, I was unaware there was a trade in celebrity hair.
Well, yeah, it's quite a big trade in celebrity hair, actually. But, yeah.
How long have you been going at it, so to speak?
About 10 years or so.
Okay. And what kind of hair do you trade?
Well, all sorts. We go back as far back. I can hear sniggering in the background there.
I'm sorry, I'm just wondering where mine is gone.
We've got Gail Porter here, famously suffers with alopecia. And of course, so when we're talking about celebrity hair with celebrity with no hair, it wasn't done on purpose.
I apologise.
It's a rather unfortunate juxtaposition, shall we say. Anyway, sorry, Daniel. So, where'd you get your hair from?
Well, we get it from auction, from private collectors. We get it from Hollywood wig makers. We have locks ranging from Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, back to Edward IV in the 15th century, all the way through to kind of the stars of today, such as Daniel Radcliffe, Kit Harington, people like that. How
do you verify that the hair belongs to the person they say?
Yes, it can be tricky. It's all about tracking the history, tracking the provenance. Can you track back from the auction to the collector, to the dealer, back to the person who originally collected the hair? At some point, you have to believe what someone is telling you. Yep, there's no two ways around that.
So you mentioned Marilyn Monroe's. So as far as I can appreciate from your website, the hair you got from Marilyn Monroe comes from a haircut just hours before she sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President for JFK in 1962. So I can assume from that the provenance would have presumably come from the person who cut her hair.
Yes, it comes from Robert Champion, who was a hairdresser to the stars in New York. It originally came from him. He then gave it to a friend of his, who then gave it to a collector, who then went to a dealer, and then we got our hands on it. So that there is a complete chain.
How much did that go for, Daniel?
For the whole lock is £250,000.
Whoa! And are you allowed to break it up and sell it as separate individual pieces?
Yes, absolutely. We have individual half-inch strands at £399, which is a bit more manageable for most, yeah.
Daniel, I'm gleaning that if there's a story to tell around the locks of hair, that increases the value. So I've just noticed that, for example, a Michael Jackson hair sample sold quite well because it was taken from his hair just after it caught fire during the Pepsi commercial.
Yes, that's a major one. A couple of others that we're selling is Elvis Presley's hair from his famous army haircut. He had a short back and sides when he entered the army in 1958. We have hair from that haircut.
What does the King's hair cost then?
That again is $390. We only have a very few strands of that, so again that's $399 for a half inch.
Okay.
And probably the most grisly one is Charles I, who was executed in 1649.
Yeah.
We have his beard hair from the execution.
How do you know it's? I mean, that's 1649. That's hundreds of years back.
Because his body was exhumed in 1813 by a doctor named Halford, and when he exhumed the body at Windsor Castle, he helped himself to a bit of the beard hair, which was still intact, and then we've been able to trace the provenance from that moment on.
Now tell me this, Daniel, because I'm a broad-minded individual with a liberal tendency, but what kind of weirdo goes around taking beard hair off dead people? I mean, that's quite odd. Long before Paul Fraser Collectibles existed. I mean, that is odd.
I mean, these are different times in the early 1800s, but it was a major thing to do to share locks of hair, to give them to loved ones as tokens of affection.
Yes, of
very common in the Victorian era. Yeah, lockets in the Victorian era. Yeah.
Just human hair, or do you do animal hair as well?
We do horse hair. Famous horses, famous racehorses. Red Rum, Desert Orchid, Arkle. Yeah.
Now, can I ask? I know you're in the business of trading in hair, but it's a kind of scientific question, but I mean, anybody who's seen Jurassic Park knows that you could, the idea, the premise was you could create dinosaurs from their DNA frozen in bits of amber. Is it possible, do we know one day that one might be able to extract the DNA of, I know, Red Rum or Charles the First?
And clone the champion racehorse. To my knowledge, you have to have the root of the hair to be able to do that. The majority of our strands don't have a root, so it wouldn't be possible most of the time, unfortunately. But I think in theory, if you've got the root, then you can clone the new Charles I or the new Elvis. Should you wish.
This may be a difficult question, but what kind of person collects hair?
Good question.
Two types of people. You've got the super fans, the fans of Justin Bieber, the fans of Elvis, the fans of Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and then you've got the real collectors, the fans of the collectors of history. So you've got someone you've read about in a book. So you've got George Washington or Charles Dickens or Napoleon. What is better than an autograph, or actually owning an actual piece of that person that you've only ever read about in a book before? It really brings them to life. I mean, right now I've got Queen Victoria sat in front of me. I've got Charles I here.
This is genuinely blowing my mind. So, Gail, am I allowed to talk about you? Because Gail's...
I'm so sorry I'm giggling. I apologise.
If somebody has... Have you got any... Do you know anyone who's got any of your hair, Gail? I mean, is it on an old hairbrush from years back?
I'm assuming not. I don't think they'd get much cash for it. But I'm assuming that, well, it sounds a little bit like Silence of the Lambs with hair. So are you single?
Happily married.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't tell me you're bald.
I was going to say, is she bald?
Gosh. Can I ask... I mean, this is all... I think we can agree in a nice way that this is all quite weird, but within the relatively weird world of hair trading, what have you had requests that even by your own standards sort of were challenging?
We wouldn't do serial killers or dictators, that kind of thing. Yes. We stay clear of them. Yeah.
Anything else?
Probably quite a long list of the people we would stay clear of, but I mean, in terms of kind of people we do stock, I mean, we've got Mary Queen of Scots, we've got the Red Baron, who else? Lord Nelson, George Washington, yeah.
How much would you give me for mine?
Our
standard figure is $3.99 for a half-inch, so I don't see why we would drop the price on you, though.
No, I'll be honest, it's rarer than hen's teeth if you can find any.
I've got it in a jar. I kept it in a jar. So it went down to just above my bottom. Yeah. So it went from, I had a fringe and everything all the way down to my bottom. So how much would that be?
I refer you to my previous answer. $3.99.
$3.99, but that's $3.99 a hair. So
yes.
Yeah. So I mean, this time next year, Gail, you could be a millionaire.
Million hair.
A millionaire. Daniel Wade.
It's been nice doing business with you.
Can I just ask one thing? Is it just hair you do, or do you do other collectibles?
We do all sorts of memorabilia, autographs, stamps. We've got Henry VIII signed documents. On the wacky end of things, we've got some wallpaper from Abraham Lincoln's house. We've got the Gandhi's, the bowl Gandhi used in prison. So all sorts of weird and wonderful items.
Where are you?
We're in Bristol. Paul Fraser Collectibles of Bristol.
And can people come in and pay a visit and see the stuff?
By appointment. Yeah, we are mostly online, but yes,
okay.
we are here physically as well, yeah.
Daniel Wade, manager of Paul Fraser Collectibles, one of the most bizarre Curiosity Corner experiences I've ever had. Thank you for blowing my mind.